Hello, and we are back, and we are better than ever. And this video took a shit ton of research and playing with stuff. So I hope you enjoy, and yeah, definitely subscribe if you can. Again with this video, same as last one. Tell me what you think. If you think it could be better, it could be worse. You think that this is wrong or bad, tell me. I will respond and we'll have a conversation about it. I actually wanted to say a big thanks to a few people who were actually helping create the video. So, I would like to personally thank, I'm not sure how to say her name, I'm going to throw him up on screen, Nidax and N4, because he definitely opened my eyes to a better Kinsect. I would say for general use, he is completely correct. This is much better. As you can see, you can collect almost all of them instantly. If you hit it just right, you can collect all of them at once, and it's just much better for general use. Definitely would prefer this one or Arc oh my god, I can't say its name. Arc Maiden or Brittle Fix, or whatever it's called. I will just show you them right after. I'm just going to turn this on. So, what is this build? I have made a 100% affinity, and it's not on wounds, it's just straight up 100% affinity. You just have to hit a weak point. Because, let's be honest, this whole build idea thing now, I keep on saying, is kind of really annoying, where you kind of get to it, and it's like, brother, you have to hit a certain part of it, that's not really good, but as you can see, it's 100% affinity without 100% affinity, so, I just have to activate the one thing, and as you can see now, it is 100% affinity, and there are no wounds. Much better, and the damage is a lot higher than the previous build. So, you're probably wondering, how is this possible? Now, to get to this point, I had to do substantial research on what gave affinity, essentially. So, like I said before, I was playing or toying with the idea of Gormagala armor. Now, the 4-set bonus is not that great on you. So, here's what you have to do. Essentially, how Gormagala armor works is once you cure it, you get 15% affinity. That sounds pretty cracked. Now this is where it gets even better, because antivirus gives you another 15%, effectively giving you 30% affinity for essentially existing. No difficulty of getting it, and it is pretty easy to activate. And it lasts for, I believe, 90 seconds. So a minute and a half, and its uptime is back and forth. So it's not bad there. The reason we're not taking advantage of Coalescence, because I know I'm going to hear about it, is because we're not Elemental. That only works for Elemental, and it's not that great on this. So, now you're probably going to ask the next question. Once you have that, you get 30% affinity for just simply existing and having these two pieces. You then have to look at the next part of this, which is Mighty skill. As long as you're on the floor and comboing, you will have maximum might always on. There will not be a time where it's not on, because you're going to be on the ground most of the time to do your big DPS anyways. Now then, once you have that, that just equals another 30% affinity. So that's 60% right off the rip. No difficulty, with simply 2 sets and gems. So the final piece of this is going to be Tenderizer. So, with Tenderizer, if you don't know, I believe it's 5 pieces, gives you 30%. I am blind. Here we go. So yes, 5 pieces gives you 30%, so that's 90%. You get 30 from Gore, 30 from Mighty, and 30 from Weakness Exploit. So, the issue with this is going to be, obviously, it doesn't really work, because you're going to be 10% affinity over if you're on a wound, which is fine. This build is built so you have 100% affinity at all times, making 0 effort to have it otherwise. So that you will just always be hitting your highest deeps no matter what. Now then, we have the chain jewels. You're going to want as much of this as possible. It seems to be the most overpowered when it comes to weapons like this. Not really an issue once you really have it. So, of course, you're going to want your critical boost in here. If you can, I recommend getting a razor sharp jewel with something else. I haven't really got a good razor sharp jewel with something that is actually useful. I would recommend razor sharp and a handicraft. I'm nearly certain that's possible. If you can get that, throw that in here, even better. You just makes it because you hit a lot. You will use your sharpness up. You're gonna want this. Trust me. Now, the actual damage is pretty insane. Let me tell you. And the best part is, unlike the previous build, the predecessor to this one, that's not good. I think I procced the bad version of Frenzy. So, the predecessor to this version 1, the only issue was it was 100% affinity, but only on the what is it called? Only on weak points, which is actually kind of problematic, because if you play this game, you'll know that it doesn't really work. It will work good, but it's not as good as 100% affinity. Just give me a second, I gotta let this run out, so I'm gonna just be right back. Alright, we're back, and as you can see, yeah, crit on everyone. Feels pretty good. Now then, of course we're gonna get the big move, and that's a lot of damage. For a Kinsec, that's a lot of damage. There hasn't, besides like the Rise move, I guess, that was pretty strong too, but just for like a click one button move, it's kind of insane. And since the playstyle kind of nowadays revolves around dumping your charges immediately and just kind of getting it back, it just kind of makes sense that you would kind of do that. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of damage. If you're placed a little bit better, you probably get a little bit more value out of it, but yeah. So, damage is there. You're probably going to be wondering now, what weapon? So, the weapon is pretty simple. It's the Ardian weapon, unfortunately. You can't really get out of the Ardian weapons. They are the best. Now, for what I would recommend, you do not have to add 10% affinity. You can give it like the 10, 13 more attack it gives. But I like having 100% affinity at all times, and I don't like having 95% because that looks weird. Now, you can go paralysis, poison, or blast. All of them are good options. I'm playing with it right now to see if poison or paralysis is better, or blast. And blast is probably better for straight damage, and poison just seems really good for the same logic I used when I made builds in World. It's just continuous damage, and it just doesn't really get bad. Now, where this does change is if I can proc paralysis a few times. The hunts I've been on, I've been able to proc it 3 times at most. So it hasn't been the greatest, but like we're still gonna do some testing with it. So I'll probably have a final video once I get some these things like tweaked out, and there's not really much issues. But this seems like the final build. You're probably, for those of you who are gonna say, why not build 4-sec gore? Well, the 4-sec gore does not give enough damage for me to be like, yeah, we're gonna need that, and it doesn't give that 100% affinity that I was looking for. This is just overkill again. You can go back to that. You can go gore 4-piece and get the bonus it gives. I believe it's 10 or 15. I'm not certain, but that doesn't seem worth it, especially when I had that build. It was really hard to fit in Tenderizer and Chain, whereas in this build, yeah, we got full chip burst and we got full maximum might. It just looks nice. You want this clean look because if you're a perfectionist like me. And then again, you get 2 extra slots. I recommend tossing in either an adapt, one adapt, or a growth jewel for self-improvement, whatever you want. Even you could just throw in like some random stuff. It's your build, do what you want. You can even scrap all of what I put in here. This has just been the most optimal set I've got here. So yeah, it's finishing off. The weapon you're going to want to use is definitely Deep Relicha. I don't know how to say that. You can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong when I say that. And you're going to want a razor sharp jewel because you eat through sharpness. But yeah, if you have any other comments to ways to make it better, things I'm doing wrong, combos I'm not really getting into, and for all of these you're going to say, well, you can't really use maximum might while you're in the air, and to that I say, you're barely in the air to begin with, and to actually go into the air, it just doesn't feel like it's worth to do, especially when you do combos like that. Obviously I missed everything somehow because I'm the worst player in the world, but that's like the only time you would really get into doing that. But yeah, the majority of your DPS you should be doing on the floor. It's a lot more efficient and you get a lot more damage done over time with 0 issues. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I put a lot of time and a lot of talking to people, a lot of scanning Reddit posts, and big thanks to Rage Gaming Videos. I didn't steal, I commandeered the idea of more Garmagala. They had a 4-piece set for a greatsword. I'm like, I did some research, and yes, the gore is really good. 30% affinity essentially for existing is kind of insane. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.